Hey guys, it's your boy Ultraman, and today we are going to be tackling a hot debate among the Tales of Arcadia fandom. That debate is Troll Jim versus Excalibur Jim. This debate really started on TikTok with people trying to rank Jim's forms and how strong they are. Most of the time you'll see Troll Jim ranked at the top, but is that the correct opinion? Well, that's what we'll be answering today. For today's categories, we will be discussing strength, attack potency, durability, combat speed, and abilities. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay tuned for more uploads like this. We are also close to 1,000 subscribers, so let's keep pushing. Also, if you want to chill or talk to me directly in the description is a link to my server which you can join. With that being said, let's get into today's video. Start off with everyone's favorite version of Jim, Troll Jim. Troll Jim is actually pretty impressive when it comes to his raw strength. For starters, he was able to throw Gunmar across an entire city block, which is pretty impressive. He also scales to characters like Arg, who can catch crystals with his hands and stop a train in Rise of the Titans. This version of Jim does have other metas, so let's talk about that. He should be comparable to Draw, who is capable of throwing Namora into the horizon, which again, Draw is below Arg, so obviously Jim would get this scaling as well. This Jim should also scale above Matrix, as he is described as doing feats that were never thought as possible by Blinky, which Matrix was capable of picking up a small mountain and throwing it. So Troll Jim's strength is anywhere from train stopping to even mountain lifting. Now let's discuss his attack potency. For Troll Jim's attack potency, he should bare minimum be in the high universal tiers, with his amulet being able to charge the Heart of Avalon, which is powered by time itself.
Heart of Avalon. His magic keeps Camelot aloft, powered by time itself.
Which there are statements of time being infinite in Tales of Arcadia. You can get this higher since Jim's amulet magic is more powerful than Claire's shadow magic, which is stated to be able to tear through time and space, which would just be baseline 4D. Now it's time to talk about Jim's higher metas. If you want to use the whole Shadow Realm dimension scaling, there's that, which would be 7D, as in the show, the Shadow Realm is said to be the 7th plane.
I am the Eldritch Queen of the 7th plane. Baba Yaga, the Pale Lady. I have slain scores of Merlin's fools.
Which plane and dimension are used multiple times to describe it. This would also be a higher dimension, as it's stated to be a space between worlds that governs above it with souls of the dead, where even the past and future events can be seen there. Although by now you should know that the Shadow Realm is more complex than that, as Merlin has the Omni Sign Stone, which houses all knowledge about the past to the future of the universe. This would obviously include infinite numerical dimensions, mathematics, material composition, and logical frameworks, which Merlin doesn't understand most things about the Shadow Realm, meaning that the realm qualifies outer versal since it's beyond the Omni Sign Stone. If you are wondering how Troll Jim gets his scaling, that's okay, because he gets it by being able to cancel out Morgana's attacks and scales to Angor-Ra, who can also harm Morgana. So all of this, his Troll Jim's attack potency anywhere from high universal to even outer versal ranges of power. Now let's discuss his durability. For Troll Jim's durability, it should be similar to his attack potency thanks to Newton's third law, meaning the amount of force he applies to his attacks, his body has to take that as well. This scaling for him is backed up with him being able to survive hits from characters who scale to or above his amulet like Gunmar and Angor-Ra. He can survive hits from characters who scale to or above the Shadow Realm scaling like Morgana and the Green Knight. So overall, Troll Jim's durability should be anywhere from high universal to even outer versal, just like his attack potency. Now let's move on to his combat speed. For his combat speed, he should be in the immeasurable tiers, considering that he upskills his old self, who can withstand and attack spirits in a realm that predates time and is outside the flow of time and space. He can also get to those tiers thanks to Morgana, as she can move in the Shadow Realm, which is outside and between space and time. That's really where his scaling stops for that, so overall Troll Jim's combat speed is in the immeasurable tiers. Now let's move on to his other abilities. For his abilities, he has Daylight and Eclipse magic, which allows him to summon weapons like his sword, his glaives, his shield, although he doesn't have the helmet, unfortunately. He also has other abilities since he's a troll, like increased strength, senses, and durability. He also has a Daylight weakness, which isn't the best, but I feel like with his other abilities, they do counteract that weakness. And he doesn't instantly die like other trolls, so there's that. But how does his opponent's Excalibur Jim stand against all of these high metas that Troll Jim has? Now for Excalibur Jim, his strength isn't all that impressive. He should at least be comparable to his Season 2 self, who could kind of lift that boulder up, which is alright, but nothing crazy. For his better strength metas, he is comparable to Steve, who can match his coach, who threw a cell phone into the sky, which is pretty decent, but yeah, overall, this Jim's physical strength isn't that good, as he doesn't really focus much on raw physical strength. But now let's move on to his attack potency. For his attack potency, we're going to have to look at how powerful Excalibur truly is. For starters, under Author, he was capable of clashing with a Prime Gunmar and even overpowered him later in their fight. Excalibur is also comparable of clashing with the Shadow Staff that's being used by Morgana. Now, to be fair, this is a weaker version of Morgana, but still, it is impressive. Now, as for the feats in the film, that's where the things get interesting. Jim with Excalibur can clash with Belrock, and is even able to knock her to the ground and destroy her staff. You might be thinking this feat doesn't sound that impressive, which to that I say, you are wrong. In the film, they make it very clear that each member of the Arcane Order is one of the greatest threats to any world has ever seen in their universe. You might be asking, why is this important? Well, let me tell you why. For starters, this would put each member of the Arcane Order above Galen's core, which is above a Season 3 Morgana who is capable of bullying all of Team Trollhunters. Galen's core was also said to be able to destroy the universe itself.
These of your kind and ours have foreseen.
Galen's core holds the power to destroy a universe.
Which this gets even more crazier because of how complex Toei is. In Toei, there are troll caverns like Troll Market. These caverns are always blocked off and separate from the physical human world, and require portal keys to access these hidden magical worlds / dimensions, meaning they are separate space-time continuums. There are at least over 1,000 of them, considering that Blinky states that to search all of them would require their entire lifespan, meaning if Galen's core destroys the universe, it would also destroy these separate space-time continuums, making Galen's core feat a multiversal feat instead of just a universal one. This scaling gets even higher than that, with Belrock upscaling Porgon's threat to time itself, which is also pretty impressive. Now, just like for Troll Jim, he should be at, the scalings of those characters. To let me quote myself, if you want to use the whole Shadow Realm dimension scaling thing, that which would be 7D, as in the show, the Shadow Realm is seen to be the 7th plane, which plane and dimension are used multiple times to describe it. This would be a higher dimension because, as stated, space between worlds and governs above it, with souls and the dead, where even past and the future events can be seen there. Although by now you should know how the Shadow Realm is more complex than that, as Merlin has the Omniscience Stone, which houses all knowledge in the past, present, and future, meaning that it would be, above infinite numerical dimensions, mathematics, and material composition logical frameworks, which Merlin doesn't understand most things about the Shadow Realm, meaning that the realm qualifies as outerversal. So yeah, obviously Excalibur Jim scales to this, as he was equal to Belrock in the film. Not to mention Belrock and the other Arcane Order members created the universe itself. It only makes sense that they're at the top of the cosmology.
They seek to reawaken the Titans, imbued by the Arcane's primordial energies. 3 Titans were their handmaidens to the birth of the universe.
So overall, we got Excalibur anywhere from multiversal to even outerversal. Now let's move on to his durability. For his durability, he can endure stabs from Belrock in the film. His amulet's energy that forms his armor can also endure and withstand a full power blast from Belrock. Also, again, with Newton's third law, this makes his durability scale more consistent with his AP. So like with his attack potency, his durability is anywhere from multiversal to outerversal. So now let's discuss his combat speed. For Excalibur Jim's combat speed, he should obviously be in the immeasurable tiers, as just like his troll counterpart, he gets his feats from reacting to Porgon's timeline reset feat that he would also scale to because he's a more stronger version. Like Claire, who can keep up with Morgana in the Shadow Realm. However, he gets improved as he can keep up with Belrock, who's faster than Morgana and the Green Knight. This is backed up with Belrock being one of the creators of the universe, meaning she can move in place where nothing exists, which includes time, space, and distance. Not to mention, Belrock, who completely is above the cosmology, will also be above the concepts of time and space, which would be irrelevant speed. So overall, Excalibur Jim's combat speed should be in the immeasurable to potentially irrelevant speed. Now let's discuss his abilities. Excalibur Jim's abilities are his sword, Excalibur, which can shoot beams of light, cancel out magic, teleport back to him, and can allow him to send magic aura for a good bit. He also has the amulet itself, which summons the Acaridian magic armor, which is really good. Which then brings us to the Time Stone, which controls time infinite and allows Jim to visit any point in time whenever he wants. Now that this section is done, let's see who actually wins this overall Jim battle. So yeah, most fans would believe that Troll Jim would win because of his physical strength and his overall coolness. The aura, the swag.
Finger licking good special. That's what I'm talking about.
But however, if you look at the facts, Excalibur Jim easily slams with superior attack potency, durability, and combat speed, and just other abilities that can just cancel out Troll Jim's magic. I mean, Excalibur is literally to nullify magic. That's literally proven in the films and in Wizards. Or, he'll just straight up one-shot Troll Jim at this point. Which yet, overall, I don't know why this is a debate in the first place, guys. Listen, I'm somebody who loves Troll Jim more. Listen, Trollhunters is one of my favorite shows.
It's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
The film, not so much. The film is alright to me. I think it's overhated, but also I understand the hate for it. But Troll Jim is just like, he's not that strong compared to Excalibur Jim. He lacks the feats. Again, y'all can say Troll Jim is above because he fought Gunmar Angel Rot. But y'all love to forget that he was struggling against the Green Knight.
Save himself. Tragically, must.
That also happened in 3 Below, and he was not weakened. If he was weakened, find a scan, because literally there's Weak's Gap, and Trolls have a fast healing factor, so he was not weakened when he fought the Green Knight in 3 Below. And then he lost to the Green Knight in Wizards, as we know, which Belrock is massively above the Green Knight. This is just not a debate at all. So if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know deep down. By the way, again, the link to my server is in the description. And let's help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I got some plans if we do. With that being said, take care, everybody. Ultraman out.
Welcome to Billy Bob's Space Shop. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. We're here for, so much LARP. It's a crime.